Greetings. Thanks so much for joining. We are here again today. It is a blessed day. We give thanks that we are alive. We are here. We are in the presence of goodness, mercy, love, and kindness. So let's gather together and share the goodness of righteousness that is the most high of all time. So thanks for joining. And as you can tell, I'm in my bonnet today. Oh my goodness, so much things are going on. But our theme today is about treasures. Where are your treasures? Where are your treasures? Where are your treasures? That's our theme today. Where are your treasures? That's where your heart is going to be. So my treasures are not material things. Even though I acquire material things, I don't own anything. Nothing is mine. All I have is the goodness of God. That is the righteousness of Jah, right? That's it. Everything else is an illusion. And the fighting and the war and all this is part of that elusive situation. And oh goodness, let's see. We have so much happening in our world today that sometimes we can be frustrated and annoyed and all that. However, we have to stop ourselves and say, what are our treasures? What do we hold dear and treasure, right? During the holiday time, people celebrate and they are with family. They commune with family. And that's the opportune time that the world gives its citizens free time to get with family, because other than that, they're working. So it seems like a plantation system in a different way. So how do we maneuver? How do we function, and not be consumed as consumers? And we're buying. What are we producing? What are we creating? What is it that we are leaving a legacy for others? So we're going to get right into it today. And we're going to get into our verse today. Yeah, let's get to our verse today. That'll kind of help us answer the questions, what are our treasures? And let's get into that. Verse of the day. Verse of the day. You're just in time. Verse of the day. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for joining, and thank you so much for being part of this. Subscribe, like the video, all of it. Verse of the day. So our verse of the day, it comes on my phone, the verse of the day. So the verse of the day is coming from the book of Matthew chapter 6. So if you have your scriptures, Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21. And it speaks, for where your treasures is, there your heart will be also. So treasures and heart go in hand, right? And the question today, the theme today is, where are your treasures? So where is your heart? Because remember, the one who created you knows you and knows your heart. So you can't fool the creator. You can fool other people, but you can't fool the creator. And you will reap exactly what is dished out. What you give is what you get. Okay? What you give is what you get. Thanks for liking the video. Thank you so much. So, as we journey in our lifespan and we reflect on ourselves and reflect on, the people in our lives and the impact, whether positive or negative, we have to look at, where are our treasures? What are we holding dear in our hearts? And we have to become members of a new life, like what we did before may not have worked. So we have to do different things to get different results. It's that same kind of way. So as we look at our theme today, where are our treasures? Matthew talks about it. Matthew chapter 6. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth or in the world. Okay? Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Okay? But store up for yourselves treasures in righteousness. Treasures, it says treasures in heaven, right? Heaven is so abstract to us because we're humans living on earth, and heaven we see as far away. But the heaven is in our minds. It's up here. So Matthew is speaking, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy. Because if you look at heaven, it's a Isla. I call it Isla. Isla means happy, gay, fun, without sorrow or pain. So heaven is that place, and you don't have to physically leave your body to go there. You can have a heaven on earth. So Matthew is speaking of this in terms of store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. Okay? So we have some questions in the chat. I'm going to answer all your questions on another live. I've been writing down your questions, and I'm going to have a Q&A coming up soon. So get your questions ready, because you can ask me questions in this Q&A that I'm going to do. And the debates that we have over religion and God, and who is God and who is not God, and who is prophets and who is not prophets, we have to stop that. We have to become arbiters of goodness, mercy, love, and kindness, and not dictatorship. We have to stop dictating to people our beliefs. If you believe that, that's fine. Guess what? Somebody else may believe something different. Do you then crucify them because they don't believe what you believe? Okay? So we have to become lovers of righteousness, not lovers of, names and, origin, and this man was born here and that man. It's going to say, it says that in the scripture, that this one was born there and all this stuff and all this, right? We're not getting into that. We want to be about one love. And doing the wrong thing, that's a subjective. You may think somebody's doing the wrong thing because they have a bonnet on their head. You may think somebody's doing the wrong thing because they love someone that you feel is not who they're supposed to love. It's like, why do we police other people instead of ourselves? Police yourself. Be about an example to others. That's what you do. Be an example. Be the change you want to see. So if you want people to see Jesus as a prophet, guess what? You got to be that change. You got to live that. Don't talk about it, be about it, right? So we look at our theme today. Where are your treasures? What are you holding dear to you in your heart? That's the question. And when we look at Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 and 19 to 21, we have to really take it into account that Matthew is writing about what is important. Where do you put your importance? Where's your priority? Okay? Are you serving the world, or are you serving the earth by planting food in the earth? Serving the earth in that way. Or are you serving the world and you follow the things of the world? Excuse me. So what is it that's going on? That's the question we have to ask. Okay? We have wars going on in the Middle East. Remember, we have this speech says peace in the Middle East. Yeah, it's been from such time since I was little. And the reason we have war in the Middle East is because of the confusion of religiosity, and that confusion of a brown man being born in the Middle East and being converted to a white person because white supremacy, you know what I always say, capitalism and colonialism came together and had a baby called white supremacy, and it spread all over the place. So it turned everything white as right. So what do? We have to be arbiters and creators. Okay? We have to be. We have to read. People are not reading. They're just getting their information from someone else as opposed to reading the information for themselves. Critical thinking is something that seems to be lacking. Okay? Critical thinking skills. And people seem to be surprised as what's happening in the world today. It's not a surprise, and it shouldn't be a surprise. It's been happening quietly all along. It's just that we got videos and cameras and all this to record this stuff that's happening. So in our verse today, we're going to move on to the words today. Matthew is giving us that answer to our question. Where are your treasures? Where are your treasures? Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can see when I'm going to be live, and you can get you can hear a little bit of nuggets of wise mind and knowledge. Okay. Let's now go to our word today. What is our word today? It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. Of the day. It's the word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the day. My wrist. So the word of the day today is brought to us by 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. And 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10 speaks like good stewards of the manifold grace of righteousness. That is, you can speak different languages and call God, Jah, Allah. Like good stewards of the manifold grace of God, serve one another with whatever gift each of you has received. Service. So you serve one another with the gifts that you have received. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Mwah! I am going to pick a subscriber. I call my subscribers angels. So thank you, angels. How are you all today? Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. I know it's not popular to talk about goodness and mercy and love and kindness, and generous is our word today. We're going to get into it with First Peter is bringing in our word today. Thanks so much for subscribing and liking the video. First Peter is asking, and it's actually telling, to serve one another. What gifts do you have? Do you have a gift that you are not, how do I put it? Do you have a gift that people have told you a lie about? Like I told someone the other day, someone lied to you and told you you're dumb. Someone lied to you and told you that you are not smart or not worthy. Someone lied to you in your life and you believed the lie. So you feel you're not able to achieve your gift that you were given. We were each given gifts. And like good stewards of the manifold of the grace, the manifold grace of God, we have to serve one another with whatever gift each of you has received. And that is about the answer to our question today. Where are your treasures? Where are your treasures? And your treasures are not, as Matthew stated, to be stored up. And, you have all these things stored and hoarding. It's not for that. People do that. And we have to become servants of one another. Not in a way where we're being used and abused, but we're parting knowledge. Okay? You can be service to one another in a knowledgeable way, not in a monetary way where you're giving away money or material things, but you have gifts that are bigger and higher than that. So our word today, brought to us by 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10, is generous. Generous. So generous, I bless others as I joyfully share my divine gifts. Okay? Sharing your divine gifts. And what are your divine gifts? I had a friend who got in a situation with someone and they threatened their job security. Yeah, they threatened their job security. And they reached out to me to help them write a letter to their job explaining the situation. So I shared my gift. I didn't share monetary money. I shared my gift of knowledge in writing and preparing a letter for a friend. Now, these gifts are divine gifts. Whatever I share, especially on here, when I share something, it's divine. It's a divine gift. Thank you, YouTube, for this platform, because I wouldn't have had it without, right? So we give thanks. That's what this channel is called, giving thanks every day. Every day, all day. We give thanks. Even when we're sad and going through situations that may not be positive, guess what? We got to give thanks in it. We got to give thanks. Give thanks. So I bless others as I joyfully share my divine gifts. So I share my divine gifts, and that is how I bless others. So as a river that never runs dry, righteousness, goodness, mercy within nourishes all the time. There's a flow of nourishing that happens all the time. I show thankfulness for and amplify this righteousness, this generosity, when I mirror that righteous generosity in my life. Okay? Gratitude strengthens me to shift my focus to the abundance of bless all around me. Okay. Someone said, I think it was my son, he sent me a text or something that says, someone paid their rent, but they're starving. All their money went to their rent. They don't have nothing for food. So when you see this happening, you know, don't look at you don't have food. You do. You do have abundance. And that abundance of bless is all around you. No matter if you don't see it physically in a material thing. You may be riding a bike to work. One day you're going to be driving a car. The next you're going to be in your own plane. So you got to keep on giving thanks and being positive throughout all of what's happening. And deep appreciation rises. Deep appreciation rises, filling with joy and tranquility. Okay? With a full heart, inspiration to give. Okay? I feel inspired. People inspire me. Those people who don't support what I'm doing or have mean things to say, I am inspired by you. Yeah, I'm inspired by the haters. I'm inspired by people who may not like me because I'm wearing a bonnet or because I love who I love. You know, happens. However, I feel inspired to give. I feel inspired. I desire to share of myself, my talents and gifts in service to others. As I give freely, I align with the righteousness of kindness. Kindness. Bottom line, kindness. I serve from a place of love. So when we are serving and being servants, as First Peter mentions, being good stewards of the manifold grace of God, serving one another, as we are serving others with our talents and gifts. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, giving thanks. Thank you, angels. You all are angels. I think YouTube should change the word subscribers to angels. Let's do that. So I'm going to call my subscribers angels. Thank you, angels, for being angels. I also, I serve from a place of love, not expecting anything in return. So when I wrote that letter to help my friend, I didn't expect anything in return. I didn't expect anything. You know, I'm doing this from the kindness of my heart. I also nurture myself through my favorite righteous practices. I have practices that I do that are about righteousness. And if you define what righteousness means, you will find practices in that way. Giving to myself in this way strengthens myself to give to others so I can sustain and increase the positive impact I make on the world. Okay? Remember, sustain and increase the positive impact that you make on the world. And being good stewards is part of that. And knowing where your treasures are, what your treasures are, is where you're going to find out where your heart is. Okay? And thank you so much for liking the video. Thanks so much for joining and for being part of this. I Selah and Selah again. I use the words from the psalm that ends the psalm, Selah. And it's another word for amen. But we are looking in our Bible challenge. We're in the book of Genesis this month. And the book of Genesis prefaces the book of Exodus. So we're going to be going into Exodus. And as a child, I had to memorize it. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I forgot most of it. But This is how I grew up learning the Bible, books of the Bible. And it's beautiful. These are beautiful stories. And people misinterpret them. I don't want to misinterpret anything. So I use righteousness and love as a channel for receiving the message. Okay. And you can too receive the message in love and kindness. So in the book of Genesis, we're on the chapter of Isaac. God's promise in flesh and blood, and we have Isaac and Ishmael. There's this, lots of Bible scholars have different interpretation of these two individuals. But the book of Genesis, we have birth of Isaac, Isaac's childhood, offering of Isaac, and then we have Isaac's early adulthood, the death of Sarah and the marriage of Isaac. So the measure of a righteous life is not in its ecstasies, but in its obedience. So obedience, being obedient children of God, okay? There, we have people, and I'm not saying my angels out there, but there are people who use God, Lord, and Jesus for nefarious endeavors. I've been watching some stories about children who were molested and abused by the church, pastors, family members. And this is a channel on YouTube called Unfiltered Stories. Okay, Unfiltered Stories. And it's stories of adults recollecting their abuse, their childhood trauma that happened to them as children. So when we talk about God, Lord, and Jesus, we have to be intentional. Thanks for liking the video. We have to be intentional, and we have to get to the point of not discriminating against people. Okay, I was discriminated against by someone who called the name of Jesus. And they said, I can't rent that apartment to you because your lifestyle does not meet the criteria. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not a serial killer. I'm not a child molester. I'm not out here pillaging and hurting folks. Why is my personal life something that you have to police? So the woman said to me, and I said, I thought we served the same God. I thought that God is the same yesterday, today, tomorrow. What has happened? So we have to be careful, okay? If you're a Muslim, if you're a Jehovah Witness, if you're a 12 tribe, if you're a, Bingi, whatever you are, be a good example and represent that to a highest good. Don't use it to discriminate, hate, be homophobic. Don't do that. It's like contrary to the religion that people follow. And all religion is about love. It's about love. It's all about love and kindness. So thank you for liking the video. Thank you for tuning in. We are out of time. And I send out all the love and kindness to everyone out there. Go ahead into the book of Genesis, chapter 22, 23, and 24, Isaac and Rebekah. We have Nahor's sons. Abraham is tested, okay? You're going to be tested because people love their children so much. They put their children before their love of God. And this story of Abraham tells us how Abraham said, look, I serve God. I don't serve you, young child, but I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to make sure you're okay, right? And Abraham had a decision to make. Do I sacrifice this, my son I love so much? And when he was about to do it, his heart was, his heart was proven to be loyal to God. And he did not hurt the child. Isaac was not harmed. Okay? So thank you for joining. We're out of time. So go ahead and read it. Tell me what you think about this particular book of Genesis, chapter 22 to 25. Faithfulness in little things is a big thing. So when you have faith in the little things, it's a big deal. And that is where we're going to look at tomorrow. Isaac's family and fortune were in the book of Genesis, as I said. Send me your comments. What do you feel about this book of Genesis, and how does it how do you interpret it to be? I love the sessions that my angels come on here and make comments. Thank you for your comments, angels. And I will see you next time on Giving Thanks every day, all day. Thank you so much for joining. Have a blessed day. I got 10 likes on this video today. Thank you so much. Remember, stand in love, don't fall in it. And always ask yourself, where are my treasures? That's where you're going to find your heart. Take good care, everyone.